What's up everybody, my name is DJ KZ. Welcome to my channel. I've been a DJ for 10 years and today we're going to look at the new Mixtrack Platinum FX. This is a 2-channel controller, but you can actually activate 4 channels using deck select. And in my review I'm going to compare the Mixtrack Platinum FX to the Mixtrack Pro 3, which I've been using for the last 5 years. I'll show you the differences, the changes, especially in the layout. So let's get it started. So I just got this yesterday. I'm very excited to share my experience with you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll show you the layout. As you can see, we have our RCA outputs. We have a USB output that goes to the laptop. We have our mic input. On the other side, we have our 3.5mm and 1/4 inch input for the headphones. So with that said, let's plug it in. I'm going to plug in the RCA outputs and the USB. Straight away you can see that the jog wheels have LED display. We are going to get into that, but the first thing you can see, I'm going to show you what the jog wheels, the display indicates. But from the top you can just see that the jog wheels are bigger. These are 6 inches as compared to the former 5-inch jog wheels. These are bigger, better, they are tight, and they feel very, very, very professional. I've plugged into the Serato DJ Lite. So let me show you the features one by one. So here we are. We're going to look at the changes that have been made on the Mixtrack Platinum FX. I'm going to do a bit of comparison. As you can see, the first thing on the layout is that as you can see, the pitch faders have been moved to the right. The pitch faders were initially on the left hand side. So as you can see, the pitch faders are on the left. The sync, cue and play buttons are on the right. But on the new controller, you can see that the pitch fader is on the right and the sync, cue and play buttons are on the left. And I really like this change, because now when you adjust to CDJs and mixers, you'll feel right at home, because when you have the CDJ mixer and CDJs or high-end DJ controllers, you'll find that this is the standard layout. So I really like this new layout. We've talked about the jog wheels. The jog wheels are now 6-inch compared to the former 5-inch jog wheels in the Numark Mixtrack Pro 3. And the 6-inch, these are very nice, very responsive, and yeah, I really like them. And it will get some time for someone to get used to scratching, because they do feel heavy. They are very heavy. They feel so professional. The former one was a bit lighter. These feel heavy. These feel very nice. They are very responsive. Of course, you can scratch or you can pitch bend using the outer side. As you can see, the pitch faders are full. I like that, with a bit of tension. And when you adjust the pitch faders, you can tell on Serato, I'm using Serato DJ Lite, you can tell that You can see that adjustment reflects also on the jog wheels. So what I like about this is you don't have to keep looking at your laptop when adjusting the pitch. The other thing you'll notice is that the information, you'll have the deck number, you have the BPM info, you can tell how far your track is gone. You see there's another white ring forming inside, so if we can just forward, you'll see that can show you how far your track has played. And of course there's a digit showing the track time. You have your key lock. Like in my Serato, I have activated the key lock function, which is up here, and when I disable that, you can see on the jog wheel it's also going to disable. So that's the key lock. You can always use shift and pitch bend plus to activate or deactivate the pitch lock. Also, the other information you can see there is the pitch range varies from 8 to 16 to 50. You can use shift and pitch bend minus to adjust that. And lastly, when you do adjust the pitch range, it's going to show down here on the percentage. So as you can see, this is plus or minus 8. However, if you use shift and minus, now it's 16. So when you adjust, you can see that's 16, plus or minus 16, or you can use plus or minus 50. So now when you adjust, you can see all the information is on the jog wheel. The other thing you can see is that we have the cue, auto loop, fader, cut, sample, select. So now on the Serato DJ Lite, you have your 4 cues. So as you can see, you have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So you can these buttons are very responsive. And over here you can see the starter function that basically takes the track back to the beginning. As you can see, I'm pressing the starter button. So this is what you'll find on Serato DJ Lite. We are going to look at Serato DJ Pro later. Okay, you have your auto loop section. So when you play your track, you can always do the auto loop. Of course, you can do auto loop 1, you can half or double your auto loop. Okay, we have your fader cuts. So if you're a scratch DJ, maybe you want to be a scratch DJ, this can maybe help you do your scratching a bit. So let me try to look for a track that let me try to look for a scratch sound. So if you have like this, you put your fader cuts, so you see, like, you can feel the cuts. Okay, then of course you have your samples. Which you can set up in your software. Very nice. And So you do have, you can see the change here is that you have your cue buttons, fader, cuts, auto loop buttons separate. In the old controllers, you had to press shift to activate manual loop, shift to activate auto loop, shift to activate sampler, and this was the button for, you know, doubling or halving your effects. But we had dedicated cue buttons at the bottom. As you can see, you have your Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So you only had 4 cues in the old controllers. But when you have your Serato DJ Pro, you have up to 8 cues. But for the Serato DJ Lite, you have your 4 cues and your starter, which brings the track back to the start. Next to the starter button, you can see the other buttons there, and what they do, you can go to your next track using this button. You can see I'm using Beats by DJ TLM. So on DJ Lite, the other buttons, you can forward or rewind. Yeah, let me look for, hey guys, what's going on with DJ TLM? That's DJ TLM. Okay, so you see you can forward your track or rewind your track, forward or rewind. So that's the function you get when you activate cue. On the auto loop, still the same function. Then you have your automatic loop function, so you can just select a loop, half it or double it. So fader, cuts and sampler, that's it. You have your full pitch as earlier indicated. So now on the left side you can see you have your mic volume knob. I'm going to demonstrate that later. So that's it for the jog wheel. Let's get to the mixer. Okay, before I go to the mixer section, one thing I want to point out is when you look at the Pro 3, you see that the pitch bend buttons used to be at the top, and the FX buttons on top of the jog wheel, and you could adjust the FX using this touch pad. But now the pitch bend buttons are right there at the bottom, and now as you can see the FX, there's an FX function, there's an FX section on the new Mixtrack Platinum FX. First thing you're going to see is that you have your up faders, which first of all are slightly smaller than the ones on the Mixtrack Pro 3. As you can see, they're slightly smaller, but they are still okay. I like them. They are tense and very easy to use. So if we play our track, you can see very nice, very smooth. The other thing you can see, you have your filter knob. What I like about this layout is that now, as you can see on my old controller, I had to change the knobs to custom knobs because I wanted to know, you know, the difference. I wanted to differentiate between the 3-band EQ and the filter knob because they have the same layout, so you could accidentally use the filter knob when really what you wanted to do is kill the bass. And I like and I really like what Numark has done. You have this big button for the filter, and when you look at the 3-band EQ, you can see that the knobs are gray, so that you don't confuse these with the what is it called, the levels, the pitch, the volume pitch. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. So I just like that layout. You're able to differentiate. Yes, the trim level controls are in black, your 3-band EQ is in gray, and the filter knob is big, it's huge. And when you look at the mixer section, this looks very high end. This looks like the same layout on the Numark scratch mixer, or even on the Rain 72 or the Pioneer S9. So having this on an entry level controller is mind-boggling. This is fantastic. This is very awesome. You get to learn a lot from this, because you have your high pass filter. So if you're playing your track, when you do that, it holds, but you can temporarily activate by just holding it down and letting it go. So that's the temporary function. But if you want it to go on for long, you can just, when you place it up, it holds for long, but down means temporary. You can activate your low pass filter, and you can see it's blinking when you do that. So high pass filter, same thing. Your flanger, you can activate your echo, which is post fader. Or again, you can do it temporarily. I like that. You have your reverb and your phaser function. And as you do that, you can always change the beat, increase or decrease. You can make it so you can see there's a function for wet or dry. You can increase or decrease. Let's try that with the echo. You can see. But if you increase the beats, so again, it's a matter of preference. So you can use the beats function to increase or decrease the beats, or increase the echo. See, it takes a bit longer, but I prefer it to be just there in the middle. Yeah. Okay. At the top, you can see you have your browser function using the browser knob. So you can move around the software. As you can see, I have TLM's beats, which I've used for the Saturday Super Sessions 3, 4, and 5. You can check out DJ TLM on YouTube for tips and tricks. Now you see the browser function. I can browse my tracks. If I want to load a track, I just go to the load function. You can see now the difference is, now they indicate L and R, load left, load right, because initially you had the 2-channel 2-deck Numark Mixtrack Pro, where you had load 1 and load 2. As you can see, it's a 5-year-old controller. The digits are faded. And now you have left and right, since this is a 4-channel controller. As you can see right now, I'm looking at deck 1 and deck 2. So if I want to change to deck 4 on this side, I just press shift and deck select, and you can see immediately it has adjusted to deck number 4. So it's amazing that we have this feature on the Serato DJ Lite. So you can mix up to 4 decks. Then let me get back to track number 2. As you can see, now it's gone back to deck number 2, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen. And you have your, of course you have your cue points for my scratch sounds. So you can, on the software, you can add more cue points. Okay, let's for example try and add cue point number 5. Whenever you try to add another track, another cue point number 5, at the bottom it will tell you upgrade to Serato Pro to use this feature. So for now, what we do, let's close Serato DJ Lite. I think I've gone through everything on Serato DJ Lite. Oh, sorry, the other buttons, of course, on the mixer are the cue buttons to activate your cue on your headphones, your cue gain and cue mix. You have your crossfader, which is very smooth and very tight. The cut is amazing. It feels so professional, so buttery smooth. So I really love this. And of course you can see your levels on this side. If perhaps you play this song, you can see your VU meters over here. They're a bit smaller than what we had on the Mixtrack Pro 3, but this is okay. You can adjust your cue gain, cue volume, and you can decide to mix between the cue and what is playing. So that's on the top right, you can see you have your master gain. Your master gain is now on the top right, which used to be in the middle on the Pro 3. So that's a new change. And of course you have your pitch fader on the right. And you can see they've indicated it's a 4-deck DJ controller. So let's close down the Serato DJ Lite. There's an offer for $1 for the Serato DJ Pro. As you can see, with the DJ Lite, you cannot record your mixes. That is the downside. When you're using Serato DJ Lite, you cannot, there's no record function. As when I try to close it, will show you. So when you use the Serato DJ Pro, you have more cue points and more sample slots, and huge array of effects, beat jump, slicer, sleep modes, and key analysis. So that is what is missing. As you can see on the display, you do not have the key indicator, you don't have the recording function, you only have 4 cue points. So I would advise you to purchase Serato DJ Pro, because you get all these benefits, especially when you're a beginner DJ. It's good to record your mixes. It's always good to hear your mixes, so that really helps you improve. So let's close Serato DJ Lite, and I'll get back when we open Serato DJ Pro. So we are back. I've just opened Serato DJ Pro. I bought the license, so I'm able to connect to the Mixtrack Platinum FX. And okay, let's plug it in. So right now I've plugged in Serato DJ Pro. This is, I think, version 2.8 if I'm not wrong. This is 2.8. So let's get to it. Immediately you can see on the Serato DJ Pro you have the record function up here. You can activate the 2 to 4 decks. You can see all of them. You have your effects section and your sampler section. So now you can load up to 4 effects on the Platinum using Serato DJ Pro. So let me get back to the 2 decks. So the first thing we're going to do is load a track. Let me look for DJ TLM's tracks using the browser knob. Let me see, where is my favorite beat? Okay, there we go. As you can see, since I've been using the Pro 3, I could only have 4 cue points. And on the decks you can see there are only 4 cue points. But now you have the freedom of adding more cue points. So now on Serato DJ Pro, this doesn't act as a starter. It acts as cue point number. You can see the one in green. It's cue point number 5, 6, 7, 8. So you do have all 8 cue points. So you see, I really like that. I'm going to set up those functions later. When you go to the outer loop, you can see you can have 2, 4, 8, 16, and then of course the other buttons. When you go to the outer loop function, these buttons now automatically become beat jump. You can adjust your beat jump range using these two. Then I wish I had a longer track. Let me remove the outer loop. Let's get back to the cue point. So when you press on this, on the outer loop, you can see there is some adjustment. So this becomes, you see, beat jump left. This is the beat jump left, beat jump right. You can see. This is very nice. You can do everything on your controller. Then of course adjust the range of the beat jump, either half or 1 or 2. I like 2. So you can see the software is corresponding to what I'm doing. So you have your beat jump back and forward. Very nice. Now I think we've gone through the effects. You can have your echo, so when you go to the effects function on Serato DJ Pro, you'll see that whatever you're doing corresponds. So if it's echo, it's going to show echo on. So basically you're activating using these buttons. You have your, I don't think there's much to say about that, other than now you can have your 4 decks. Yes, let me activate the 4 decks. So I'll press shift and the scratch button, which is the deck select. Now I have 4 channels. This is channel 3 and 4, as you can see. So I can choose to play then I can go back to deck 1 and stop deck 1, go back to deck 2. This is deck 4 now, deck 3, sorry. And as you can see on the jog wheel is that adjustment, deck 1, deck 3, deck 1, let me stop deck 3, so you can see, can show you how far your track has gone. So you see you have 4 decks. So on Serato Pro you can see all 4 decks at the same time. So the other function, you have your auto loop, and of course you can see the beat jump functions and your beat jump range. Fader cuts, the same same stuff like what I demonstrated in the other. So if you're scratching, right now I can't do the scratching at the same time as the fader cuts because I'm using my camera, but you can tell that there are some cuts. But I encourage DJs to practice scratching with the crossfader. Again, when you go to the sampler, now you have 8 samplers. Let me go back to the two deck layout. Look for the samplers. So these are the samples. As you can see, I only have 4 at the moment. But if I want to add more, I'm going to add more, then I'll show you how it's. Okay, hi guys, we're back. So I've loaded all my samples in the sampler function. As you can see, we have all 8 functions. We've loaded all the 8 banks, all the 8 slots, sorry. And when you look at the controller, you can see when I go to cues, you can add up to 8, and on the sample I have all my samples, as you can see.
DJ life of the party. Holla at your boy. Okay, yeah.
That's a big improvement, and I like it. Now you can have 8 samples to play, and of course you have your banks. You can always add bank B, bank C, bank D, So if you're switching with another DJ, you know, you can have the other DJ put his samples in bank B.
What's happening, baby?
Yeah. All right.
Fire, baby. Fire, baby.
So in a summary, you can see the Mixtrack Platinum FX is very different from what we used to have before in the Pro 3 and Pro 2 also. The only downside is that the jog wheels are very heavy. It will get some time to get used to, you know, using the jog wheels. It will really take a while because they're heavy. But once you get used to it, it's all good. But the advantages are, first of all, the build quality is very, very solid. It's nice and heavier. It's heavier than the Pro 3. Basically, roughly the same size. It's heavier. It's solid built. This is plastic, but it's high quality plastic, including the up faders, the FX buttons. And I like the way Numark has added these functions without cramping in the buttons. They are very well spaced. You won't hit another button like when you're scratching. You have enough space when scratching, when playing with the FX select knobs. So they are very well spaced out. You can scratch. The crossfader is very buttery smooth. The buttons are very high quality. You have the metallic play pause buttons. Yeah. So I think it's very nice. And now that you have the 4-deck function on Serato, and also 8 cues, 8 samples, and I think this is a very, very, very nice controller. It feels very, very expensive. It feels like the high-end controllers that we have, and wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I don't know how Numark was able to put all these functions in such a budget controller. Numark, big up. Salute to you guys. This is the best controller in my opinion. This is the best controller in the world, and I love it. And you'll notice that a beginner DJ will learn a lot from it. A pro DJ can easily mix using this controller because it will feel familiar to them due to that mirrored layout. So I think I'll be uploading part 2 very soon for some tips and a bit of scratching and a bit of mixing. So keep it locked. So thank you very much for joining me. This is DJ KZ. Don't forget to like, subscribe for our reviews. Keep it locked. Thank you for joining us. Peace.